Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Forged Youth. I'm editor Kyle. Today's episode is another Forged Youth Q&A. These types of episodes will continue throughout the season, so if you have questions of your own you'd like to share, please send them in. We'd love to hear from you. And now, on to today's show.
Good morning, everybody.
Here we go. Okay, so I just gave a little teaser. We're talking about coaches, firm coaches,
Mm,
maybe abusive coaches. Where's the line between a firm coach who cares and an abusive coach who is destroying the spirit of players?
hmm
That line, it's oftentimes it's tough to find. It's blurry. It's not such a clear-cut line. It's a very blurry line. So we're going to explore that because I know a lot of people cross sport, it's cross culture. It's an issue. I was pretty lucky in my career. Only came across a coach that really got to me one time, and I'll talk about that later. But yeah, why don't you kick us off, Mariel, with how we came to discuss this?
Yeah, so I'm in a group, Volleyball Moms, on Facebook, and I've been seeing this common theme come up quite a few times in posts. And this morning, I just think it's good for us to talk about it. So there's one post that came up, and it's a mom, anonymous. Enough is enough. We need a platform to release videos of some of these coaches behaving erratically towards these players, cursing, threats, tantrum, retaliation, especially at games. Their behavior can and has caused so many to quit the sport, lose self-confidence, and in some cases deal with lasting emotional trauma. That's not what these players signed up for, and I'm sure after seeing themselves on video, they will be prompted to change.
hmm
Woof.
hmm Wow, video. That's a curveball. I didn't expect to hear that there's video. Um
Mhm.
and that these coaches are having these explosions. Like coaching explosions is nothing new. You know what I mean? It's
No,
been around in the game for like
since
forever.
the
Like if
sport
anything, it's like
began.
having it captured on camera and having to reflect back at it. That's maybe new. Usually it was reserved to the higher levels. Um yeah. Do you have any experience yourself with I know you have experience with a firmer coach, so why don't you fill everyone in on that?
Yeah, so when I first started playing volleyball, I was the youngest kid on the team, playing in the senior team. I was like 11, 12 years old. And the coach that we had was actually, he was a basketball coach. He wasn't a volleyball coach, but there wasn't a coach for the volleyball team. And so he just stepped in and did it. And so he was treating us like a bunch of high school boys,
Hmm
which is, interesting. And he didn't actually really know volleyball that well. He just knew that if we were in the best shape of our lives and we could outplay, like outrun, outlast everybody, that we would be okay. And so he worked us so hard. Like practices would come and go. We would puke. We would just like sometimes we wouldn't even set up the nets. It would just be all conditioning, like all of it. It was
hmm
crazy. And then when we did play games, for every mistake that we made, we even had to go and like run towels or do lines or whatever it was, just because he was old school and that was the way he did it.
hmm
During games, he got super mad. He had explosions. He had been known to like throw a chair or a clipboard, get super red, yell, like all of these things. And it was a love-hate relationship because also the other side of him was that he was the best, still is, the best like motivational speaker. And he really did care about us
hmm
and our like how well we did and how much we were able to like really push ourselves to our limits. So it was coming from a good place. He maybe just lacked the skills to emotionally regulate and be able to maybe coach females, especially, adolescent females in a different way. He didn't really have that down pat, that's for sure.
hmm
That being said, it taught me so much. Like I would not go back and change it.
hmm
Like he ended up we what he ended up being able to step down from the volleyball team and just focus on basketball because we got a coach, which was Bob, who started teaching me mental training. So it went from extreme body training to extreme mind training. And but Mike was still my what do you call it? PE teacher and stuff. So I still had to deal with him in PE and I still had to deal like all of these things and he didn't change. Like he was just crazy, right? So from the outside looking in, parents had a really hard time watching. Definitely. All of us kids had a hard time. There was tears, there was why am I doing this? Like all of those pieces were there.
Hmm. So was it just the physical demands that were challenging, or was it like I don't want to say, okay, I'll say this, uh, personal criticisms.
Sometimes it
Personal
was.
attacks and personal criticisms are two different things, and I think the person who's being criticized,
Mhm.
um, it's tricky because that person, it could always look like an attack, even though it's a loving criticism. You know, it depends on the person. So was this coach, was it just the physical demands, or was it criticism, or was it attacks?
There were multiple times where he told individuals on our team as well as our team that we were not in shape. We didn't look good. We didn't look like athletes, and we needed to whip ourselves into shape that way with what we were eating and how we were showing up to practice and the lifestyle we were living. Um, there were times where he could
Hmm.
be kind of like mean for sure.
Was it true what he was saying?
Yeah, yeah. It was. And that's the thing. And that's why you can only, I think, get so mad too. But there was a point where he was a basketball coach at that time. I think it was my senior year. And he came up to me and he was like, Mariel, your team is overweight and out of shape. I wasn't even like,
Hmm.
right? And I was like, okay. And I looked at him and I got super offended and upset that he was saying that to me. And I didn't respond because I knew that it was not going to be good and I was going to end up running for what I had to say to him at that moment.
Hmm.
But I took time and I looked at the team and I looked at how we were, and it was true. Because if you compared that team to the team that was actually under him,
Hmm.
we were not working as hard. We were not in as good of shape because he wasn't there to whip us
Hmm.
into shape. And so it was
Hmm.
taking that time to look at it and being like, could he have worded it nicer than like making me feel like my team and myself is overweight and like all this kind of stuff? Of course, he totally could have worded it better. However, like we're all humans and we stumble over our words and struggle to speak on the daily. And so it was like, what is the message behind the words that were being spoken and why was he saying them?
Hmm.
And so I
Hmm.
had to take time to look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. See, the thing with me, I like firm coaches.
Mhm.
Um, there's a place for it. There's a place to be firm, and there's a place and a time to be loose. And a good coach knows when to choose which path or which method is appropriate. Um, yeah, so I wanted to sort of get your thoughts. I don't want to branch too far off our main theme, but there is a couple things that I'm wondering, and I know there's probably, some coaches that are going to come across this. Shout out to Luca Caputi, by the way, if you're still watching, my one of my old teammates and one of my first friends in hockey. We were both rookies with the Mississauga Ice Dogs back in the day, and now he is a coach, I believe. Well, last I heard, Luca, if you're listening, you were head coach in Kingston. Good for you. So let's catch up. Anyways, Mario, back to this. Okay, coaching adolescent females.
Mhm.
Coaching adolescent females, it's apparently different than coaching boys. How so? What can coaches, especially male coaches, what do we need to know? What are we missing here?
With It's interesting because I have coached two teams that were adolescent females, and then of course I've been one. And after that, I only coached males
Mhm.
because females at that age, at any age, let's be honest, we struggle with drama and being catty and really mean to one another. And you're going through all of the emotions that come with like puberty and like all of those things. And so it just really on the emotional level is difficult to navigate. That being said, one of the coolest things happened on the team when I was with that hard coach was that there was no team drama. None. Because every we had a common enemy. Even though he was our coach and like whatever. All of us had to put anything like that aside so that we could focus on the team and helping each other out. Like the whole friggin' before Coach Carter even came out and it was like the team helped
Yeah.
finish running lines and whatever. That was our team because of our leader. So it's interesting to like, I think with wording, you can be different when you're coaching girls. It seems like boys, from my experience coaching them, if they have an issue with each other, they're gonna bring it to each other and they're gonna figure it out and then they're gonna move on. And so
Hmm.
that's a key piece is being able to understand the team dynamics and the drama dynamics that are going on as a coach and be able to you're the leader. You can't allow for it. You either have to be the reason why they're banding together or you need to be calling it out and making sure that it doesn't happen.
Hmm. Okay, so this is gonna, maybe we're treading on somewhere sticky ground, like sticky ground. Oh, I'm gonna ask anyway, because I'm genuinely curious how to navigate this situation or question. So you guys were out of shape. You looked out of shape, whatever that is. I think we all have an idea of what out of shape looks like.
Mhm.
No judgment. But how is a coach supposed to say you guys look out of shape without offending people about their what their body looks like?
I don't think you can. Like I think, and that's the thing that I think that all of us need to, parents too, like parents and players, we need to acknowledge that coaches at the end of the day are there to like bring us to our better selves and to challenge us. And that doesn't come with like roses and rainbows all the time. Like it comes from
Mhm.
actually having to say the hard thing. And that's hard as a coach. And it's hard to hear as an
Yeah.
athlete and as a parent. And so I think that that's a struggle. That's one of the struggles that we're seeing nowadays with coaching is that parents, we try and cushion the blow and try and create these spaces so our kids don't have to get hurt feelings or be uncomfortable because we think that it's not good for them.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
over the generations, this has kind of gotten worse and worse and worse. There's data behind it.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, then we're creating a generation of youth who don't know how to handle uncomfortable or hard situations and get through the other side and realize that they're actually super strong and can get through anything.
Yeah.
Right. And so sports is like the perfect and safest place for that to happen.
Hmm.
To hear hard things from coaches and teammates and to learn how to navigate them and push yourself and all that kind of stuff. Right. So
Hmm.
does that answer your question?
Hmm. It does. And I guess something sort of dawned on me too, listening to that, is that everyone is going to have sort of a different threshold or
Hmm.
tolerance for criticism. So you have to keep that in mind as a coach and know your players. You know,
Hmm.
player A, maybe you can lean into them a little bit harder. Their
Yeah.
threshold for criticism or truth essentially is higher, whereas somebody is more sensitive and you have to dial it back. An amazing book. I just read this book. It's a classic literature. It was written in like 1912 or something. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Okay, so this is an absolute life-changing book. Like it's probably one of the best self-development books you can read. Um, but one thing I took out of that is like how to deliver criticism.
Mhm.
And you can use this in your relationships, your marriage, your as a coach, as with your line mate, whatever. We don't like criticism. All of us despise it. We don't like it. Soon as we hear criticism, it's like the dukes come up. We're in defense mode. A way around this, coaches, listen up, is to give a compliment first. Two or three compliments, like really butter the person up. Because when we hear compliments, our ears are just like, "Whoop," they open up wide, and we are paying full attention. So we're more receptive. So a couple compliments, and then it's like, hey, have you ever thought about why you do this? What if you tried that? I think maybe that would be a better play for you next time, or whatever it is, the situation. You cater it to whatever the situation is. But yeah, some coaches, it's just boom, negative all the time. And then there's that sort of, there's friction, right? As soon as that player goes into defense mode, puts the shield up or whatever it is, there's friction and the message is not going to get through. So
Mhm.
yeah, knowing as a coach, knowing sort of like the most basic um, sort of pillars of human psychology, and how
Yeah.
we respond to criticism and how we take feedback and all these things. Like it's part of your job to know these things because you're managing a small group of, especially at the younger ages, sensitive people,
Mhm.
who are you're in a position of power, you're the authority, you need to be a leader. That's part of being a leader,
Yeah.
is reading those leadership books and taking those courses. You just can't show up and start asserting your dominance when you are not yourself a full, at least feel full and complete and an embodiment of love, and you really care. So,
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree with that, Hummer. That's a very good book. It's on my shelf too.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that line between like abuse and firmness, it's pretty blurry. In my
Yeah.
opinion, I like firmness. Firmness has its place, but it always has to come from a place of love. We see a lot of times, and this is the abusive coaches, they're hurt people and they're
Mhm.
just spilling it onto the people under them, these vulnerable kids,
Mhm.
and it's just hurt people. So it's that doom loop. But a coach who's coming from love, who literally stays up at night wondering how they can get the team to band together. Like there's coaches out there like this.
Mhm.
They can be firm, but the players know, they sense it that this coach like really cares. They care so much that their hair is turning gray halfway through the season. They care too much. They care more than me, you know? So I think players can tell when the coach is coming from a place of love, and I think their threshold or tolerance for criticism is raised. It's bigger.
Mm. Yeah, and I agree with you. And I also think that as parents, so like maybe your kid is super sensitive and is, not responding well to the criticism because the coach is being a little crazy or more quote unquote aggressive in their coaching styles and stuff like that, then you being able, pardon me, to sit down with your athlete and go, okay, here are all of the ways that are, how can we see the value that is still being brought here through how they are coaching? And if there is a severe struggle and it's just not working, the athlete should be approaching the coach and just, pardon
Yeah.
me, advocating for themselves. Hey, coach, I know that this is this is the style that you do, but when that happens, this is how I feel, and it really makes it hard for me to actually show up and do my best because I'm scared or I am always feeling worried that something's going to happen or whatever, right? Like being able to advocate for yourself and having that conversation with the coach is huge.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then if it continues, if other parents on the team are getting the same having the same conversations with their kids and it really is like a blanket thing where this coach is just too harsh and maybe they have stepped over that blurry line, then the team goes to the coach
Yeah.
because there's power in numbers. But
Yeah.
like, let's leave the parents out of it. I know this is hard. Let's leave the parents out of it for as long as possible to help empower and enable these youth athletes to ask for what they need. Hey there. Quick pause to say thank you. If you're listening right now, you're already a part of something powerful. We're here to help young athletes and their families build grit, resilience, and purpose, and your support makes that possible. Did you know that over half of podcast listeners never hit follow? That one click actually helps us grow, get bigger, and reach more people who need to hear this. So if you're enjoying this episode, please hit follow or subscribe. It's free, it takes a second, and it really does mean the world to us. Now, back to the show.
Okay, we just got a comment from Tendy HQ. Okay, we have to address it because they made a very good point. It says love and truth. I've seen coaches giving false compliments and then that they can confuse the player because they are complimented then criticized. Okay, a little hiccup there, but I think we get the point. Yeah, something very, very, very important that I didn't mention and I should have mentioned. So when you're leading with that compliment first, it has to be a real compliment. It can't be a fake compliment. It has to be something real that they have done well or they do well, and you have to mean it from the bottom of your heart, or else the entire thing falls apart. And that's a distinction that is made over and over again in the book that I referenced, How to Win Friends and Influence People. When you compliment someone or say something nice, it has to be real, or else
Yeah.
it's, people can see through it very easily. So thank you for that comment, Tendi HQ.
Yeah, I agree with that. Good way to bring that up for sure.
hmm
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to add to what you were just saying, it takes a big person to be able to go to the coach and say what's on your mind. It really does. Um, throughout my career, I struggled with that. I Looking back, I wish I would have had a better relationship with my coaches. Talk to them, and not only when things are bad, but talk to them when they're good, because maybe that's an easier time to start a relationship with your coach or say, "Hey, coach, like I've been feeling pretty good. I got a couple goals last weekend. What can I do to like make that next step? Is there anything else you're seeing?" That's going to be a really easy time to talk to your coach than when, you've just been benched and now you have to go in there and he knows why you're in there and you're kind of feeling like, oh, this is so timing is key. Take advantage of the good times when you're having them. Now, if you are in a situation where you need to talk to the coach and you don't have the courage, because let's face it, not everybody does, and it takes a lot of courage to go to your coach. You can consider writing an anonymous letter, and maybe this obviously you can't write one for a personal issue, but if it's a team thing, the coach has outbursts all the time and it's bringing the vibe of the team down and the whole team knows this. Consider writing an anonymous letter and I get creative how they can get it. Because that's a way to give a message. And then there's no one attached to it.
Mhm.
So there's ways.
Totally. Yeah. And like parents too, if you know that this is going on and you know that the kid is, thinking about going to talk to the coach and all that kind of stuff, role play it with them.
Yeah.
Role play, or even athletes with your teammates. Role play how you would go and talk to the coach and maybe what's something that they would say back and play out the conversation. Because then you are going to gain confidence in how you want to formulate what you're trying to say and get it across in a clear manner.
hmm
And and when you're talking to somebody that you have to bring a problem to, two things. Saying it with like coming from a place of respect is a really important piece. Like saying it with not like you,
Yes.
right? So being able to do that. And then number two is, oh my God, did I just forget it?
hmm
1 second. Do you have anything to say to
hmm
that while I think about this?
Yeah, not in a place of you. Like you don't want to be attacking because then
Mhm.
all of a sudden the coach is going to put their dukes up and it turns into a fight and you can't win an argument. Nobody wins arguments. It might feel like you're winning an argument when you walk out of that room, but the person that you just argued with now feels defeated and now they have a grudge against you and if they're the coach in a position of power, like how's the rest of your season going to go? There is no winning arguments. It has to be a place of mutual respect. And if you are heated, don't even bother going in. Go home and sleep on it and come back the next day if it's right after a game. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember now. The second one
Okay.
is solutions. Don't just go with the problem, go with the solution as well.
hmm
This is what is happening. This is how we're feeling. What would you think about communicating to us like this? Or, right? And so if you're just coming with a problem, then it's
hmm
more of a head meets head kind of a situation again, right? But if you go and you go, I put time into thinking about this. This is how we're all going to learn better. This is how we're going to show up with courage rather than fear,
hmm
all of these things, right? And so that shows to somebody who's on the receiving end of that conversation, oh, this person has put some thought into this. They're not just reacting out of an emotional state.
Mm-hmm.
And that demands respect back,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
is a big piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been seeing it a lot and we've been talking about it a lot actually. Like this is the time of year when people are going to tryouts or eating cub, all these types of things. And going to the coach, I think we really have to we do have to be a bit careful too, because we have to ask ourselves, are we painting ourselves as a victim right now? Is is the coach right in his decision to bench me or skate us or make us run lines or whatever? Like what is the truth,
Yeah.
to the situation, and what is just are my emotions, or is myself deceiving myself? It's very hard, and this is getting into sort of intermediate self-development, territory. Like we have to have systems in place. We don't expect kids to know this. That's why, you work with us. We help you figure it out. Um, but yeah, like we can very easily as humans paint ourselves as victims and be pouty and boo-hoo me. The world is out to get me. The coach is out to get me. And maybe it's us. Maybe we did play like crap. Maybe we're
Yeah.
not as good as we say we are. We're
Yeah.
usually not, and actually we're not as bad as we think we are sometimes too. So we're usually right somewhere in the middle. So be conscious of these things, you know, before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, back to my story, my situation, I ended up going back to my coach. Well, he wasn't my coach at the time, but going back to the coach and saying, you know what, you said that we were out of shape and you said this and this and this. That was really, it did not feel good. That being
Hmm.
said, he was the athletic director. He was like, I said, you have put lots of things into place for the senior boys basketball team so that they are in shape because he got them personal trainers, got them jump training, he got
Hmm.
them like all of these things,
Nice.
right? And then he just kind of, when he left us, he just left us. But he decided he had the power to still come and chirp. So I went to
Hmm.
him and I said that. I was like, so you're setting up all the boys for total success by getting them trainers, by getting them this and this and this. What are you doing for us that is helping us reach the performance that you want to see? And he was like, and then he said, well, go to the gym in the morning. Like, because that's when the
Hmm.
trainer was at the gym with the basketball boys. He said, go in the morning, split the gym. Half the gym is for the basketball boys, half the gym is for you girls, and tag along.
Hmm.
Okay. So I made it mandatory for the team to show up every morning before school and join the training and we got into shape, right? But it was being able to go ask for accountability, say that it kind of hurt, and like ask for a solution and bring like, well, what are you doing about this? Like, and then
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
collaborated and we came up with a solution and it worked.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, we're getting close to the end. Can we just finish up by like giving um maybe just a piece of advice or our thoughts? Because again, coming back to this, it's that time of year. It seems like parents want to go to the coach, players want to go to the coach. When should you go to the coach? Should you go to the coach if you've been benched just for one game or one weekend, or do you let this marinate for a bit, give it a few weeks, and you show up and you give 100% and you have the best attitude possible and that resiliency, and you do all the things that are within your control. You're focused, you're prep, you take care of business on your side. How long do you let that go before you go to the coach? What do you think?
As a athlete or as a parent?
Let's do both. Let's
Okay.
let's let's explore both.
As an athlete, after the second game that I haven't played, I would go and ask what I can be doing and how I can be improving in order to get back on the court.
Hmm.
The first game, I would be like, maybe he's giving other people a chance. Maybe he's resting my shoulder, like all of those kind of things. But after
Hmm.
game two, I would ask, and I wouldn't ask why or say, hey, I'm not playing. I would say, how can I improve?
Hmm. Hmm.
Give me tangible steps.
What if the team wins both games? Does this
Woo!
change? Does this change things?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. No, I would still ask.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I would still ask because it's me as an individual asking how I can improve as an individual,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then as for parents, I would only go to the coach after my athlete had already gone to the coach multiple times, and if the coach had not given my athlete the actionable steps on how to improve.
Yeah.
But if the coach is, and my athlete isn't, doing them or stepping up or whatever, then it's not my place.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree with you there. For me, I would probably give it a couple more games. Like I'd probably give it 2 full weekends.
Okay.
Um, because one weekend is one weekend, and then the second, it's like, okay, there's a pattern here. Like this is something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The parent, yeah, it depends what age. The older, like I'm trying to decide on what is the age, maybe 15, 14. I guess it depends if it's free or not. Like if you're still paying, your parents are still paying your way, okay, parents get involved. When you get into junior, it's like no, but parents totally off limits. There's not a world where your mom or dad should go to the coach when you're playing junior. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, that's 15, 16 years old. But now they have these pay to play junior leagues, apparently, which is insane to me. Uh, I mean, yeah, if you're paying, maybe you have a voice. It's like if yeah, you have a voice if you're paying registration fees. If not, no, parents stay
But
out.
that's an interesting piece, though, about if you're paying, you have a voice. Because
Hmm.
I see it, but I also don't. Because what happens when parents use their voices when it is not absolutely 100% necessary is that you're stealing your athlete's voice.
Hmm.
And I know that's
Hmm.
weird and like whatever, but every time a parent uses their voice, they're quietening their kid's opportunity to use theirs. And
Hmm.
and the responsibility that comes with being an athlete at that level.
Hmm.
So if you are going to, be an athlete, you want to play at this level, then a part of that is that you pack your bags, when your practices are, you make sure you're hydrated. Sure, parents are going to drive to practices and games, but after that, like it's your responsibility to pull up those socks and to step into your power as an athlete, not continually give it away to your parents.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, high school is I guess it's free. You're not paying, but it's still at a level again, I look at everything through the sort of lens of hockey. And high school hockey doesn't in Canada at least it's not really ranked high.
Yeah.
Like players would be playing junior A or junior B or major junior hockey. Yeah, like a parent going to the coach in major junior hockey is just unheard of. It's
Yeah.
absolutely unheard of. It would be like I don't know, LeBron's mom going to the coach, like when he's playing for the Lakers. Like it just would never be a thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the younger the kid, yeah, your parent is still, I mean, you're still under the wing, you really are. So that's appropriate, I would say.
Yeah. Well, that's a hard stop time for me. Unfortunately, I have another thing
Yeah.
to get to. But
Yes.
today was interesting. And you know what? This is a topic that we really could talk
Mhm.
about for hours because there's just a lot to it. And it takes a lot of courage and bravery to be a parent and to actually just watch
Mhm.
and trust either trust the system and the coaches, and if you're struggling to trust the system and the coaches, to trust your kid.
Mhm.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's a really big conversation to have, and one that definitely can't really, I don't even know if there is a conclusion. It's just a never going conversation, but an
Yeah.
important one for sure. Yeah.
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 Okay, Mariel, quarter after you got to run. I'm going to stay on actually. We got a few people here. I'll field some questions for a few minutes.
Awesome. Okay,
Um,
everybody.
yeah,
I'll
we'll
see you
see you
tomorrow
tomorrow.
morning.
We'll see you
Okay.
actually no in the workshop this afternoon. I'll tell them about that now.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.
All right. See ya.
You've been listening to Forged Youth. New episodes drop every week, so if this hits home for you, throw us a follow and subscribe. Forged Youth, where resilience is trained.